I think emotion and passion is absolutely required for an entrepreneur. Statistically speaking, entrepreneurs will make less money than salaried professionals. Most merger and acquisitions actually fail.
80%
This is a study. What are the problem we try to solve? Where is our expertise coming from? Scaling up framework has kind of put this team on a path
Yeah.
to uh, to be independent, to be accountable. They should be like, what is the value that has been created by your alumni?
Wow.
So I think as a country, we are resurgent right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of confidence.
Hello and welcome to Pathfinders, the podcast series from Success Alchemists, in which we bring to you the success stories from founders, CEOs, or entrepreneurs from different walks of life. Each of these stories is full of inspiration in which they have been able to successfully overcome obstacles or challenges in day-to-day business and taken their companies on the path of growth. I'm really happy that today with us at our studios is Mr. Vishwas, the serial entrepreneur who has been in this field for more than 2 decades. Thank you so much, Vishwas, for sparing time.
Thank you.
Despite being a Saturday morning, it is a great privilege to have Vishwas here with us. And I really look forward to an exciting conversation with him during the next 1 hour. Should we start with how did your own entrepreneurial journey start more than 2 decades ago? What is it that transpired?
Yeah, I think I can definitely say that if you look at a stereotypical future entrepreneur, I would never fit that bill. Uh, I am born to a primary school teacher in Nashik. Lost my father when I was 2. Moved to my father's uncle, my grand uncle, here in Pune, and did much of my education with government grants and scholarships. 1984, I joined a company called PSI Data Systems and then moved to some other companies. But it so happened that I landed a job in Dubai. If you ask me, my inspiration for being an entrepreneur really came from my colleagues in that company. So at that time, we said, yeah, if we had a company of our own, this is something that we will not do. So it started with, we want to have a company that, everybody wants to have a pride to associate with.
Right.
That was how, we started. So when we had started the company, we said that let's create a software product, which is very rarity at that point of time. And we did that. Company grew from 2000, 2001, right up till our exit in 2011. We grew the company. We had a whole product vision around it. We raised venture capital money. At that time, not many venture capitalists existed in India. So we raised venture capital money. We expanded our offerings, and we started selling overseas and all that.
Right.
Time came when we needed another round of funding. And at that time, we were approached by an investment banker who said that we would potentially get a better value if we were to go IPO. So in 2006, we took the company public.
Oh, okay.
And that is when, that was kind of a milestone for us.
Yeah, it's a big milestone, and that actually gives me the next question. The reason I interjected is because for somebody who has worked in India, worked abroad, set up his own company, and then continued in an international company again, after which setting up a company, which means you had a very large variety of set of experiences already. And by the time that you decided to take your company public, it was more than 5-6 years in the business.
Sure. Yeah.
But IPO, to roll out IPO brings its own set of challenges, because then you are not running only your own company. You are eventually going to share that ownership of the company with other people as well.
Yeah.
And other people's expectations, which means you have to prepare yourself very well.
Yeah.
And what was that time like?
Yeah, sure. So I think whenever you take an outside investor,
Yeah.
you have actually created that mindset of sharing.
Yes.
Whenever you offer ESOPs to your people, you have created that mindset of sharing. And now you no more remain an owner, but you become more like a trustee.
Yes.
So that shift has to happen. And many entrepreneurs struggle with that shift, honestly.
Was it smooth for you?
Kind of, because, somehow me and my co-founder, we were never born in money. So we were always, for us, it was just one of the things that
Smooth transition.
it wasn't, now it's been a while now.
Yeah.
So my memory is dated, but it wasn't a great deal. I mean,
Okay.
we were running business, we were looking at what best to do, and this came along, and luckily we had a good team that kind of
Yeah.
saw us through that whole process. An opportunity came along where another public company, which was looking to expand its offering, was rolling up multiple companies within its fold. And we were approached for that opportunity, and we thought that possibility of us taking this ahead just on our own versus kind of combining forces would probably be a better option.
But the possibility of continuing on your own, would it have intensified the challenges being faced?
Potentially. And this is, again, a very difficult decision that founders make.
Yeah.
And we considered all the options, and we made that choice, saying that it will be a good idea for us to, because in the public market, scale matters.
Yeah.
Correct. So and here was an opportunity where the opportunity
There
of
was a synergy between both of them coming together.
So
And once again, another rational decision, if I could put it this way.
Yes, and we had run this company for about 11, 12 years. So it was
Yeah.
kind of, we were looking at what next kind of thing. So that decision we took, we exited in 2011-12.
See, it comes probably for somebody like you, it comes so easy to say that we exited. But there are many entrepreneurs, many founders who have set up businesses, and they have run those businesses successfully for a decade or even longer sometimes. And they become emotionally attached to their business.
Sure.
And that's when a lot of consideration which should otherwise be rational in nature are replaced by things which are emotional in nature.
I think emotion and passion is absolutely required for an entrepreneur. Statistically speaking, entrepreneurs will make less money than salaried professionals.
Oh, is it?
Absolutely. Statistically speaking, the organization that you've created is also a baby.
Yes.
It had its own life.
Right.
And what is right for the organization may or may not be the best thing
Correct.
that the entrepreneur requires.
Right.
So, which is where you have to make those choices. And we made that choice. For the software as a services organization, whether it is funding, whether it is product roadmap, everything changed hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Because now the exit barrier for your customer is very low.
Absolutely.
Which means that now you have to be, then you also have to manage. Earlier, we only managed software code. Now you have to go manage infrastructure.
Yeah.
You have to manage the entire IT, which was not our core strength. So there are several changes. In addition to that, things around you had changed. I mean, people were using iPads, and people were used to have a user interface that was very different as compared to.
Yes.
So we had to do our own learning and relearning.
When you said we survived through that, what is it? What extraordinary did the teams do to survive?
No, so I think the most important thing is, we had to, people were all thrown all over the place, right?
Yeah.
They needed to be paid salaries. They needed, and we didn't see a path to sales or to customer acquisition very quickly, because we were used to talking to customers face to face.
There was a lot of uncertainty around when will we be able to step out of homes and offices.
But two things happened. We also evolved, and we were able to now start making enterprise sales by just phone calls or online meetings and Zoom meetings. This transition was important for us as well as for the buyers.
Yeah.
Because no enterprise software product was bought like this before.
Correct.
But luckily it started to happen. Things started to change. So, and we started to get traction. The second year, 2021-22, we started getting traction. And, our new journey started with Visible. Luckily, I was also, and I have been through this product journey before. So I think I understand the need to have appropriate funding in place ahead of time.
Yes.
So while I was I was funding the business, and we were doing okay. We started to do okay. Started to see revenue coming in. I decided to look for investment, seed investment in this. And I was able to get seed investment virtually with no effort because of the track record, basically.
Yeah. So
So
the reputation eventually, which is built over a period of time.
you can say that. And I was able to get investor from the US
Mhm.
who is very experienced in the enterprise software business, and they acquire a lot of companies. So they have a portfolio of about 1,000 companies.
Wow, it did not take a lot of time there.
So it was very easy investment decision.
And you continue to be invested this way for now. And
Yeah, of course, yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. I mean, from 100%
Yeah.
equity, I became. Of course, we also create ESOPs and all that.
there's a little bit I want to know a little more about when you mention about that the team has been undergoing some kind of training of scaling up.
Hmm.
In what way has the team found the scaling up implementation to bring about some changes which are completely new or have made a very big difference in the business?
So I think scaling up is a framework that basically what I really liked about that is that it has pulled a lot of good practices together
Yeah.
without claiming that they're my IP or something like that. He says, okay, and he says, okay, this is this practice, this is where I looked at, but then how it is implemented
Yeah.
and created a framework which I think is very, very good, because I have been exposed to a few frameworks before.
Yeah.
But I think as any framework, I mean, what I would say is you pick a framework and work on it.
Yeah.
It's what you work on is more important
Correct.
than the framework itself.
Framework itself, the effort that you put.
The effort that you put in, the consistency there.
Yes.
So in my experience, the scaling up framework has kind of put this team on a path
Yeah.
to be independent, to be accountable,
Mhm.
to create certain rhythms
Right.
that they follow as an organization.
The change, the point that you mentioned just a short while ago, a lot of things have changed between the time when CompuLink journey was going on and now. And one of the points you mentioned was that 15 years is a really long time in IT industry. Or somebody like you who has spent more than 4 decades now, it's like you've seen 3 generations appear and fade away.
Yes.
And in an industry like IT, it is extremely challenging to predict what might happen in the next generation, in the next 15 years. Where do you see this is headed, and what should the entrepreneurs expect in the next 10 to 15 years in IT?
I mean, I'm not a futurist in that sense, but I think that more and more technology will permeate in more and more areas of our human life. In fact, digital health, and we do a lot of,
Yeah.
we see a lot of organizations.
Mhm.
And because, as I said, my daughter is a medical practitioner,
Mhm.
we look at that and say how technology is changing the whole paradigm of healthcare.
Right.
And healthcare is just one of them. Every such activity is touched by it. In TIE, we see so many businesses. We nurture so many companies in diverse businesses, agrotech, social enterprises. Everything is being impacted by this. So now the change is that when we started our career, information technology was one of the things that you would have.
It was peripheral.
Now it has taken center stage,
Yeah.
and that will continue to happen.
It will continue to be there.
Will continue to happen.
Given your own experience of having set up businesses and given how our economy, which is now opening up rapidly, has given to an accelerated rollout of startup and the growth of startup ecosystem. And there are many more youngsters who are, after finishing their formal education, they are more and more inclined to set up something on their own. What piece of advice do you have for these young entrepreneurs? And a side question, that what kind of startup ecosystem changes are now beginning to show the impact on the business world?
So I think it's really good that the overall environment, which was earlier pretty much punishing the risk takers, right?
Yeah.
In Marathi, we have a saying ki नोकरीला लागला आणि धंद्यात पडला.
Yeah.
Basically, roughly translates as if you join,
You got stuck in business.
you got stuck, or you
Yeah.
really fell down the beach
Well, yeah.
kind of thing, right? I think that attitude has certainly changed.
Yeah.
People are more open to this. Even when I talk to, let's say, MBA institutes, and I say, don't, you typically go there as a guest and somebody will read out the accomplishments. And the
Yeah.
accomplishment would be that so many people got placed and the highest salary is so much.
Yes.
That is how a typical. So
The parameters of
the parameters of success.
and how should they be?
How should they be? They should be something very different.
Like,
They should be like, what is the value that has been created by your alumni,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
In fact,
Yes.
if that becomes one of the KPIs, and we talk about KPIs in
Yeah.
filling up all the time. So if that KPI comes in,
Yeah.
it will see even more change. I really scan the market,
Right.
Don't jump into something because that's what you know that you have experienced.
Correct.
But look at where is the market? Because an entrepreneur who's starting today, his enterprise is going to run maybe for next 20, 25 years. If not his own enterprise, he may exit or something, but the domain or the product or the service that he's starting, that is where the longevity is going to be.
The awareness is necessary of
Yes, an ability to see whether what he's doing is going to be relevant 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years from now. And then look at your strengths. And, those are some of the things we always do in, just try to peep into future a little bit, network, talk to, you talked about startup and other
yeah.
networks. I mean, those were practically non-existent,
Correct.
few decades ago.
Yes.
But now, luckily, there are a lot of sounding boards. There are a lot of organizations, structured, non-structured, who are there to, I won't say help, but give some feedback. And at the end of the day, the entrepreneur has to figure out for himself or herself what to pick from that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, network is the network. So how you connect all the dots is going to be very important. So no business, actually, nobody can say now that I'm a technology business,
Right.
or except for a few businesses which are software services type of businesses. But mostly any business has to have a technology play.
As much as I found it enriching to converse with Vishwas today, I'm sure you found it immensely valuable too. And as usual, here are my 3 key takeaways from today's conversation. The first one, and I really liked the way Vishwas coined it, that your network is your net worth. The more extensive the network you develop, the more the potential for you to leverage. The second one is about being rational in decisions related to the exit from the business. Not just the exit from the business, rather all aspects of business, rather than becoming emotionally attached with your own business. And the third key takeaway for me is that regardless of the path or the framework that you have chosen for taking your business to the new height, what is more important is to consistently keep putting in efforts so that you keep moving forward. There are many frameworks available, there are many paths available for people to choose from. But what's important is that after you have made the choice, keep walking. Thank you so much for having watched the episode today. Thank you so much, Vishwas, for having spared time today. Really enriching and really appreciate your time.
It was fun.
I liked it too. Thank you very much once again. And we will bring to you the next podcast episode next week once again. Until then, keep scaling up.